This man hadn't had a bed to sleep in for 9 years. No ID, no job, no one left to call family. He was just invisible. His name is Ray. Once a high school teacher, then his wife died. Bills piled up, and just like that, the world forgot him. But today, we did something nobody's ever done for him before. We handed Ray a blank check and told him, "Write any number you want. It's yours." At first, he laughed, thought it was a joke. But when we said it was real, he froze. He asked us, "Is this a trick?" We said no. One condition: he must be honest about what he truly needs. He stared at the paper for 6 minutes. He didn't write down a million, not even 10,000. $1,267.43. That's it. When we asked why, he pulled out a tiny notebook he'd been keeping for years. It had a list, item by item: a deposit for a motel, cheap clothes, a phone, and a bus ticket. To see his daughter for the first time in 12 years, he didn't ask for a Lamborghini. He didn't ask for fame. He just wanted to be someone again. That day, a piece of his life came back. Sometimes, the people with the least ask for even less, because they remember the value of things we take for granted. Share this if it made you feel something. Someone needs to see it today. And ask yourself, how would you fill in that check? She saved his life, but now she can't remember his face. John had been a firefighter for 15 years. Then one day, everything changed. A burning building, a trapped woman, and a decision that would haunt him forever. He rushed into the flames without hesitation. The heat was unbearable, the smoke suffocating. But there she was, unconscious, barely breathing. John scooped her up and carried her to safety. For weeks, he visited her in the hospital. They talked, laughed, shared stories. A bond formed in the ashes of tragedy. But as her body healed, her mind began to slip away. The doctors called it retrograde amnesia. It's a cruel twist of fate that erased their connection. Now she looks at him with blank eyes. No recognition, no memory of the man who risked everything to save her. John sits by her bedside, his heart breaking. He wants to shake her, to make her remember. But he knows it's not that simple. The woman he saved is gone, replaced by a stranger wearing her face. He shows her photos, tells her stories of their time together. Sometimes there's a flicker of something in her eyes, a moment where she almost remembers. But then it's gone, like smoke on the wind. The nurses whisper when they think he can't hear. They call him devoted, stubborn, even foolish. Why keep coming back when she doesn't even know who he is? But John can't give up. He made a promise that day in the fire, to always be there for her. Even if she never remembers, he'll keep that promise. Days turn to weeks, weeks to months. John's visits become a ritual. He brings her favorite flowers, reads her favorite books. Sometimes he just sits in silence, holding her hand. One day, as he's about to leave, she grabs his arm. There's a look in her eyes he hasn't seen in months. I remember something, she whispers. John's heart races. Could this be the breakthrough they've been waiting for? She describes a dream. Flames, smoke, strong arms carrying her to safety. It's not a full memory, but it's something. A tiny spark of hope in the darkness. John fights back tears as he listens. He wants to tell her everything, to make her understand who he is. But he knows he can't rush this. Her mind is fragile, the memories delicate. So he simply smiles and says, "That sounds like quite an adventure." She nods, lost in thought. For a moment, John sees a glimpse of the woman he saved, the one he got to know in those precious weeks before the amnesia took hold. As he leaves the hospital that day, John feels a renewed sense of purpose. He may not have his friend back, not completely, but that tiny spark of memory gives him hope. He knows the road ahead will be long and difficult. There's no guarantee she'll ever fully remember him or what he did. But John is prepared to walk that road, no matter how long it takes. Because sometimes, being a hero isn't about grand gestures or dramatic rescues. Sometimes, it's about showing up day after day, even when no one remembers why you're there. John looks back at the hospital window, imagining her inside. He makes a silent promise to be there for her, to help her rebuild her memories piece by piece. Even if she never remembers him, he'll remember for both of them. As he drives away, John realizes something profound. In saving her life that day, he found a purpose greater than himself. And in that purpose, he found a kind of salvation of his own. The woman may have forgotten who he was, but John will never forget who she is. The person who gave his life new meaning. And for that, he'll be forever grateful. She saved his life, but now she can't remember his face. John was just another face in the crowd until that fateful day. A successful businessman, loving father, and pillar of his community. Then, in an instant, everything changed. It was a crisp autumn morning when John spotted her. An elderly woman, confused and disoriented, wandering into oncoming traffic. Without hesitation, he sprinted into the street, pushing her to safety as a car screeched to a halt inches away. In that moment, he became a hero. But heroes don't always get happy endings. As John lay in the hospital, his body battered from the impact, the woman he saved sat by his bedside. She held his hand, tears in her eyes, promising to repay his kindness. Little did they know, fate had other plans. Weeks passed, John recovered, returning to his normal life. He often thought of the woman he saved, wondering how she was doing. Then, on a quiet Sunday afternoon, his phone rang. It was her daughter. "My mother has Alzheimer's," she explained, her voice cracking. "She talks about the man who saved her life every day, but she can't remember who you are or what you look like." John's heart sank. The woman he risked everything for couldn't even picture his face. He didn't know how to respond. Should he visit her? Would it help, or only cause more confusion? For days, he wrestled with the decision. Finally, John made his choice. He would go see her, not for recognition, but because it was the right thing to do. As he entered the nursing home, his palms were sweaty. The woman sat in a chair by the window, her eyes distant. John approached slowly, introducing himself. She smiled politely, but there was no spark of recognition. "It's nice to meet you," she said, as if they were strangers. John's throat tightened. He wanted to remind her, to make her remember, but he knew that wasn't fair to her. Instead, he simply sat and listened as she spoke about her family, her life, and the mysterious hero who had saved her that day. "I wish I could thank him," she said wistfully. "He must be a wonderful person." John fought back tears. "I'm sure he knows," he replied softly. As he left that day, John felt a mix of emotions. Sadness that she couldn't remember him, but also a profound sense of purpose. He realized that true heroism isn't about recognition or reward. It's about doing what's right, even when no one knows your name. In the weeks that followed, John visited regularly. Each time, he introduced himself anew. And each time, he listened as she recounted the story of her rescue, marveling at the kindness of strangers. Though she never remembered his face, John found peace in these visits. He saw how his actions had not only saved her life, but had given her hope. A beacon of light in the fog of her fading memories. One day, as John was leaving, the woman's daughter stopped him. "You know," she said, "even though she doesn't remember you, you've become the highlight of her week. Your visits mean everything to her." John smiled, a lump in his throat. He realized then that sometimes the greatest impact we have on others isn't in grand gestures or memorable moments. It's in the quiet, consistent acts of kindness that ripple outward, touching lives in ways we may never fully understand. As he walked to his car, John thought about the strange twist of fate that had brought them together. He had saved her life in an instant, but now he was saving her spirit, day by day, visit by visit. He may always be a stranger to her, but in her heart, he would forever be her hero. John's story reminds us that true heroism isn't about fame or recognition. It's about the choices we make when no one is watching, the kindness we show even when it goes unremembered. In a world that often feels cold and uncaring, it's these small acts of human connection that truly change lives. Sometimes, the most profound impact we have on others is the one they'll never remember. But that doesn't make it any less meaningful. In fact, it might make it the purest form of compassion there is.